The views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect those of the network or its affiliates. This content is for informational purposes only and should not be considered medical advice nor treated as a replacement for diagnosis or treatment. Please consult your healthcare provider of choice regarding any personal changes to your health or treatment plan.
For decades, we've been told that nicotine is a dangerous and addictive substance. And while it's true it's found in cigarettes and recreational products like chewing tobacco, which have long been linked to serious health risks, what if everything we've been told so far is only part of the story? What if nicotine itself isn't the real culprit, and instead the harm comes from packaging, chemicals, pesticides, additives, and processing? What if nicotine is actually a miraculous substance that God gave us with countless therapeutic uses for healing? Today's guest reveals the surprising science behind nicotine and exposes why governments around the world are racing to ban it by the year 2030. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Life TV Now, where we unpack all matters of truth, faith, and freedom. Today's program is set to be absolutely explosive, but before we dive in, let me introduce who's here. She's an integrative nutrition health coach with a Master of Science in Health Education. Please welcome my co-host, Jamie Woodall. And he's a leading voice in alternative medicine and the best-selling author of Moving Beyond the COVID-19 Lies, Restoring Health and Hope for Humanity, where he challenges government narratives and shares natural solutions for over 200 COVID and long COVID symptoms. He's the host of the popular Dr. Ardis Show podcast and co-founder of the Healing for the Ages Wellness Conference. Please welcome Dr. Bryan Ardis. If you've missed the last couple of weeks of Life TV Now, you have to go back to the archives wherever it is that you watch this program, be it YouTube or Rumble. We have been covering a barn burner of information. Dr. Bryan's been exposing a $1 trillion industry having to do with stuff that if you didn't catch the first two programs, you probably wouldn't even accept unless we did it again, talking about venoms being used in everything from our agriculture, our food, cosmetics for women, medicines. But today I want to lean very quickly, because we're so limited on time with these short 30-minute network programs, to your book, Moving Beyond the COVID-19 Lies. And I'm going to bring this up on the screen for you, and I'm going to read the subtitle, Restoring Health and Hope for Humanity. Now, Dr. Ardis, this is the first book that you've ever written. I think it has sold gazillions. I am one of the ones that purchased this at Amazon.com. And I want to dive right in. I was on the phone yesterday with my good friend Jared Lasky, who rescues impoverished slaves in Pakistan. The guy runs an incredible ministry where he's helping people find freedom in some of the darkest places in the world. And when I was on the phone with him, I said, tomorrow I got to get going. Tomorrow I got to get ready for this interview. We're talking to Dr. Bryan Ardis. And he says, that name is familiar. Who is that? And I said, well, he's the guy online. And before I could finish, he go, oh, it's the nicotine guy. Right? You've become, known all around the world, affectionately so, as the nicotine guy. How did you stumble upon the surprising finding that smokers seemed oddly protected against COVID-19? And that was something we witnessed with some of our smoker friends. They have, lung distress constantly. And you're thinking, well, surely that wheeze, man, if COVID gets a hold of them, it's not going to be good whatsoever. And then they had almost type A symptoms. They barely cared that they got it. Where others, that were nutritionally fit and you would have thought would have fared better, did much worse. In 2021, I put out a DVD called Viral Defense, and I made some comments about nicotinic receptors and some of the information that I had found. I'm pretty sure was sent to me via people, doctors, that found it from you. And it was later that I discovered you. But let's talk about why people call you the nicotine guy, because one of the things I want to deal with today is people's misunderstanding of what nicotine is. And there is no one on the planet more qualified to help us with this today than Dr. Bryan Ardis.
Yeah, it's been one of the most shocking aspects of my whole life's journey in the last 6 years. I was, for the first 2 years of COVID-19, from 2020 to about 2022, I was called the remdesivir guy.
Okay.
Everywhere around the world. And I'd coined the phrase, run, death is near, to get people to remember this drug they used in hospitals around the world. And then very shortly after that, a documentary called Watch the Water I released with Stu Peters. And then did a 3-part series with Mike Adams, the health ranger, going through these 3 parts of the COVID-19 narrative that are all tied to venoms, actually, and snake venom. And the credits, as they rolled up at the end of this 45-minute documentary, I made sure the production team put that the antidote to all things COVID, this came out in April of 2022, and we're in 2026. I said the antidote to all things COVID and the vaccines is nicotine. This was new to most people in the mainstream audiences, but scientists and medical doctors as early as March and April of 2020 were reporting around the world that there is this weird paradox going on with this new novel respiratory virus we're seeing around the world.
Right.
It affects the lungs. It's causing disease and hospitalizations around the world in all people except for smokers of tobacco products. And they actually called it this. There's a smoker's paradox when it comes to COVID-19.
That's what they called it?
That's what they called it.
Paradox.
A smoker's paradox. Why would people who are poisoning themselves with nicotine and chemicals from cigarette and tobacco products, why would their lungs not be getting sick?
Or be more resilient or whatever.
Or more resilient to this. They are, to this day, you two, smokers and users of tobacco products, to today in 2026, are still the least individuals to get COVID, test positive for COVID, be hospitalized for COVID, or die from COVID-19.
That's so interesting because when COVID first started to come out and people started learning about it, everyone kind of assumed that the smokers were doomed. Smokers are going to get it the worst. They have no chance. And surprise, surprise.
That is literally what they still pummel the airways with today, is to get people to stop using tobacco products in favor of what the real agenda of COVID-19 was.
But it's the scope of this thing is way bigger, what you've discovered about nicotine. And again, with limited time, I want to hit this hard.
Yeah. Can I dive in?
Just go. Nicotine.
All right. So nicotine, we've all been told since 1994 by the FDA, they decided then to term it a drug. Nicotine. Nicotine is actually a nutrient like vitamin C in oranges and grapefruits. Nicotine is actually a nutrient found in the nightshade vegetable family. And guess what tobacco happens to be in? The nightshade vegetable family. So tobacco just happens to be like oranges and grapefruit with vitamin C reference. They happen to have the highest amounts of vitamin C. We know that, right?
Sure.
We've all learned that. The highest containing nicotine plant on earth is tobacco. Do you know what the second highest containing nicotine plant in the world is?
No.
Eggplants.
Oh.
Interesting.
Anybody addicted to eggplants?
No.
Really? Oh, and why don't they come with a warning label in the produce section?
Oh, that's true.
This product contains nicotine, a highly addictive substance.
Right.
Do you know what the third highest containing nicotine plant on earth is? That God made, by the way. He made all these. The third highest containing nicotine plant is red tomatoes.
Oh, yeah. Most people eat a lot of tomatoes.
Do you know what the fourth highest containing nicotine plant on earth is, made by God? Potatoes. White potatoes. So everyone out there, before we even dive into this conversation, there's going to be a lot of grandmas, parents, babysitters, you name it. They're going to be like this. I would never give my child nicotine. Oh, I just want to now bring your attention to something.
Sure.
Every time you've gone to get a Happy Meal at McDonald's, every time you've gone to Chick-fil-A for fries, waffle fries and ketchup, every time you've gone to Burger King, wherever, and got fries and ketchup, you're giving your kids 2 doses of nicotine every time they dip those French fries in ketchup and eat it. You just didn't know that. Did you know cauliflower and celery are loaded with nicotine?
No.
Did you know bell peppers and zucchini have high amounts of nicotine? Okay, so if you didn't know that, I'd like to ask you, why didn't you know that? How come you only know about tobacco products having nicotine in them? Why didn't they tell you these other products have nicotine in them? Did you know that every cell in the human brain is activated to function properly by nicotine receptors?
Wow.
Which come from those plants you're supposed to be eating called nightshades. So as you eat them, your brain works better. Guess what happens if you don't eat nightshade vegetables? Guess what happens if you're diagnosed with arthritis and they tell you to avoid nightshade vegetables the rest of your life while you take prednisone and other NSAIDs, which is what they do tell you, the medical profession. When you avoid those things, guess what happens to your brain?
Why do I think you're going towards Alzheimer's?
You're going to look at mild cognitive impairment first, then you're going to develop early onset dementia, then you're going to be diagnosed with Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, and MS. That is the link.
You said that really fast. Say that last part again, because I don't want people to miss this.
Yep. So you'll see a link between the reduction of nicotine consumption which are in the plants God made for you, you will see a reduction in your cognitive function, your brain function, starting with mild cognitive impairment, MCI is what it's called, which is then later called early onset dementia, which is also called early onset Alzheimer's. And it also includes neurodegenerative processes like Parkinson's and MS.
In my DVD that goes on for almost 4 hours on helping people overcome long COVID, we looked at other aspects of nutrition like nattokinase and some other supports early on that looked very fruitful, like N-acetylcysteine. And I'm going to give you the microphone back because I don't want to spend time talking about what I did. But when you're talking about MCI, dementia, I exhausted probably an hour and a half on plaques and tangles, the connection between people that were suffering long COVID and their likelihood of developing Alzheimer's. They knew this was happening even 5 years ago.
I cover that at length in the book.
No, but go. I'm just agreeing with you that Alzheimer's, that's why I suspicioned that. It's been on my radar for a few years now as one of the almost eventualities of what they've labeled long COVID. So we're looking for ways to mitigate and get rid of that. Go ahead.
Yeah, can I give you guys some perspective here? All of you are going to be like, this is the craziest stuff I've ever heard. I just want to remind you, God made nicotine. He put it in his plants. He put it in the Garden of Eden, and he said, looked at Adam and Eve and said, everything I put in the garden, I made for the benefit of man. So he also put Adam and Eve in the garden, and he designed this thing called the human organism to be the temple of your spirit. God's the one that made your brain. Every heart cell called cardiomyocytes. Did you know every heart cell has nicotine receptors to make it work properly?
Oh, wow.
Did you know every immune cell that fights infections and destroys cancer cells are activated by nicotine and have nicotine receptors on them? T cells, B cells, macrophages, they all require nicotine to activate them. So guess what happens as you avoid those plants? And as the elderly are told, you have inflammatory conditions, don't eat nightshades, avoid them. Guess what's going to happen to you? You will develop all cardiovascular diseases, neurological degeneration, all immune suppression diseases. You'll be susceptible to everything.
It's almost like they want us to be sick.
Yes, and I just want to make everybody aware here, this is not a joke. It's my opinion, only because I watched life through COVID-19's eyes. I lived it from the beginning. My Watch the Water documentary comes out. Tens of millions of people see it overnight around the world. The antidote to all things nicotine, I made sure medical research had already proven nicotine was the antidote, the most perfect antidote, even over ivermectin in that study, April 2020, out of France. So when we projected that, within 4 weeks, asked me if it was shocking that the government of the United States, Canada, the UK, New Zealand, and Australia, all in unison on a Friday within 4 weeks, said we've all convened as governments during this pandemic where we're all locked down, biggest health crisis globally in the history of man. We've all come together and decided we're going to now announce a new health agenda for all of our countries. We are going to be banning nicotine and tobacco products by the year 2030 from all access to our citizens. Now, here in 2026, 200 countries have already started that.
Wow.
So why the hate on tobacco and nicotine? I can tell you why. They know that tobacco and nicotine found in tobacco. I'm going to have you read from a research study published by peer-reviewed and published about the health benefits of nicotine known from 1492 till today by modern-day medicine. And then you'll start to realize why Big Pharma hates nicotine and why they don't want this information getting to you. They do not want you trusting God's medicine he put inside of your plants. They want you trusting their man-made science.
And I've seen Dr. Bryan Ardis present live. You and I met last year at Billy Coppage's Secrets in Healthcare conference, and he's gone on for over an hour, and he's still talking at 100 miles an hour. So I'm just telling you now, we are already halfway through this program. There is innumerable diseases, autoimmunities, things that nicotine can support recovery throughout. They know this, right? So why is it that I'm leading with a really obvious question here, but why then would pharmaceutical companies, governments, why would they be suppressing that? You've kind of already alluded to it. It's about control, and they what? They can't offer you tobacco and sell it. So what is that?
You mentioned in an earlier episode the patenting of synthetics, right?
And some of the information that I've heard you present on goes back decades and decades. This is not new. Like, they knew this years and years ago. And no one talks about nicotine until about 5 years ago. Here comes Dr. Bryan Ardis, and everybody now is talking about nicotine. Is it as simple as they have to get this substance banned because they know that more and more people are awakening to it and they're losing customers? Is it that, in your view, is it that simple?
No.
Okay.
No, it's not, unfortunately. All right, so there are presentations I've done around the world and showed all the research, all the patents, and I don't know if you know this, but we talked about the lobbying industry's power over governments to make decisions based on favoring their industries, and no one's bigger than Big Pharma.
Yeah.
So I want to set this up in a way that people can follow. So what would the pharmaceutical industry, which controls government officials around the world, when they say, now all of you government elected officials, start enacting rules to make it banned access to a plant and a nutrient in it called nicotine. You have to ban all of that. Why would the pharmaceutical industry care so much about banning nicotine in tobacco products when we know alcohol destroys lives more than anything else?
And it is
Truth.
quantifiably addictive.
Yeah.
Right. So why are they just singling out the tobacco and nicotine product? You just saw the first global attempt to get the entire world to bow their knee to the pharmaceutical industry and take an unproven, safe, and effective COVID-19 vaccine, which was supposedly sold to you as your savior for the pandemic. Yet smokers and tobacco users around the world didn't need the vaccines. They were totally immune. And then all of a sudden, all these countries are now being told in unison, you better make sure tobacco is unavailable to your citizens, and you better make sure nicotine is not available to your citizens by the year 2030. Why 2030?
Oh, no.
Well, if you want to know what the next 10 pandemics are, go to Gavi's website, Bill and Melinda Gates' vaccine initiative website. They've named the next 10 viral pandemics, of which all 10 viruses named pandemics, Rift Valley fever, Congo fever, hemorrhagic fever, Zika, Ebola, Marburg, guess what they all target in the human body? Nicotine receptors. So why do you think they want to ban this crap? All right, so that's number one. Just note, if you don't study history, we're doomed to repeat it, right?
Yeah.
Y'all are about to repeat it if you don't
Absolutely.
stand up for God's medicine called tobacco, his nightshade vegetables. You got it. All right, so you've got 11 and a half minutes here. I want you to read the title of this medical research textbook. That's the title of the book.
Textbook.
Written by Grace Stewart.
Yep.
And I want you to read these highlighted statements about tobacco and nicotine in tobacco.
The title is A History of the Medicinal Use of Tobacco, 1492 to 1860.
Good. So that's 400 years, 1492 to 1860. A history of the medicinal use of tobacco. Medicine. Okay, great. Let's go. Medicinal. Any of you been told in the last 30 years that tobacco is medicinal and has health
No.
benefits of any kind? No. Okay, that's weird. This is the medicinal use of tobacco. I want you to read this first 2-3 statements here.
The history of the medicinal use of tobacco before the Civil War has apparently not been documented in a single piece of writing. Yet, a review of publications on the subject shows that this plant was long used as orthodox medicine by the members of the medical profession.
Hold up.
No, I know.
Did y'all know for 400 years in conventional orthodox medicine, medical doctors were using tobacco to cure people of stuff?
No.
Okay, listen. Read the next statement about tobacco. As it has been known for 400 years.
Tobacco is probably the only plant which was ever used as the panacea of panaceas.
Do you know what the word panacea even means?
It's not a common word.
Yeah.
Well, you're going to read
Magnum
it.
opus, top
Here
of
we
the
go.
mountain.
Here we go. Panacea. What is the medicinal definition of the word panacea? Tobacco is the only plant to be called the panacea of panaceas in medicine. What does panacea mean?
Panacea is a noun, a remedy for all ills or difficulties, a cure-all.
No, I saw some of this last year, and this is why we had to have you out, because our audience, I guarantee you, there are thousands of people right now watching this program that are hearing this for the very first time.
Okay, so what's the threat to Big Pharma who sells drugs? That's all they sell is drugs, and they get their street corner drug dealers in white coats called medical doctors who don't know what they're selling or promoting or prescribing. They don't tell them what they're prescribing. They just say it's FDA approved. Now go sell it, and we'll give you a big commission. They don't know what this stuff is. All right. This is from the International Journal of Applied Science Research. This is about tobacco and what is in that plant God made that was in the Garden of Eden. So I would like you to only read these highlighted statements here from this medical research study published in 2012.
Okay.
This is in this century now. We skipped from 400 years of medicinal use. I want you to now read, and you will soon know why Big Pharma is lobbying that all governments of the world ban this plant that God made. I want you to read what is published by Medical Science. They know tobacco and nicotine are cures for. Wait till you see the list. You ready? I want you to read this statement and then the highlighted statements.
Nicotine, tobacco, is a popular plant in human history and economy, and it is a notable fumitory plant. In addition to the alkaloid nicotine, tobacco contains other major phytochemicals such as flavonoids, tannins, saponins, terpenoids, cardiac
glycosides. Illicit cardiac glycosides. That's actually heart-healthy nutrients. Okay, keep going.
Wow. Phenols, steroids, polypeptides, resins, etc. These bioactive substances have a number of biological activities, including antimicrobial, antibacterial, antifungal, antiviral, antioxidant. And
She's not even done.
I'm not even done.
Hold
Hold
on.
on.
Tobacco does all this. Hold on. Known to medical science. Antihelminthic. That's anti-parasitic. Ivermectin, anybody?
Oh, my
Tobacco
goodness.
does it all by itself. Okay, keep going. And we're talking tapeworms and roundworms. Those are your helmets, are the tapeworms, the big ones. Tobacco cures the body of. Nociceptive.
Anti-Alzheimer's,
Anti-Alzheimer's tobacco is what?
peripheral nervous system activities, central nervous system and cardiovascular system activities.
Okay.
Body-wide.
How many drugs does the pharmaceutical industry sell that are considered antimicrobials? Purell, anybody? Antibacterial soaps, antimicrobial soaps, hand sanitizers. Tobacco does all that. It's also antibacterial. Do you know what we sell from the pharmaceutical industries to you for every cough, fever, chill? They'll just throw it at you. Antibiotics, which are antibacterial. Tobacco is a cure for bacterial infections. It's antifungal. Diflucan, anybody? Remember John Madden? Tough actin, tenactin for your toenail fungus. Did you know tobacco would do it? You can do a foot soak with tobacco and cure yourself of fungal infections. It's also antiviral. Tamiflu, remdesivir, anybody? Do you see the problem here? How many of these are made into drugs sold to you as a cure when a plant does it all by itself?
Well, the other thing that I'm thinking too is when you start talking about the viral agenda, you know, I feel like about every 7, 8, 10, 11 years, going all the way back to my childhood, George Bush Sr. is the president. And you start seeing these viral outbreaks when his son comes around, and it's the swine flu, and then the bird flu, and the avian flu. My thoughts are, you know, they know that there are more coming, and I would let you speculate as to whether you think that's sharing of the globe's viruses or whether that's being done on purpose. But the point is, if they know that this is an effective way to deal with much of that or all of that, then obviously they lose their monopoly on being able to offer you the solution.
Amen. All right, so in the last 5 minutes, let's talk about that. You ready? I'm going to show you guys an image. These are actually Latin to English dictionaries. How many of you know that the medical profession and all pharmaceuticals are beholden to the language called Latin?
Yeah.
Yes.
Every part of your
Right.
human body is in Latin. Everything is Latin. So this is about the only industry in the whole world that holds to Latin. Why do you think they adopted Latin as their terminology? To make them look smarter than you. So everything is Latin in the pharmaceutical world, in the medical world. Okay, these are Latin to English dictionaries, and I actually have highlighted in a little card with a date, the copyright date for all of these Latin to English dictionaries from 1771 through the 2000s, actually. So I want you, when you just mentioned viruses, the ban on nicotine around the world, why are they targeting that? We just told you it's antiviral. The next 10 pandemics are all virals.
Yeah.
Right.
Viruses, anybody? Why would they want to make sure nicotine goes away? They profit from vaccines more than anything else. All right, here we go. And cancers. So I want you, young lady, we're going to dive into just a few of these. Latin to English dictionaries. I want you to read what the highlighted definition is in English that a virus is. I titled this presentation at the Dr. Ardis Show, Do Viruses Really Exist? Because there's been this big thing during COVID. They don't even exist. No government can even produce it. I'm about to prove to you viruses definitely exist, but they're not what you're told they are. All right, so you ready? For 4 centuries, I have these dictionaries. 400 years, I have Latin English dictionaries, and they all have the same definitions in every single one of them to this day. So this is 1771. I would like you to read what the English translation of the word virus, which is Latin, reads in English.
Virus, poison, venom.
Next, 1811.
Virus, poison, venom.
1859.
Virus, a slimy liquid, slime. Poison, especially of snakes. Venom.
Is that shocking to you? Let's go to 1963. What is a virus?
Slimy liquid. Slime. Poison, especially of snakes. Venom.
Let's keep going to 2007. What is a virus?
Poison, especially of snakes. Venom.
Amazing.
This goes on ad infinitum.
Yep, let's keep going. What's 2007?
Unbelievable.
What is a virus?
Venom.
Venom is the only word it comes up with in 2007. All right, so does venoms exist?
Yes.
Yes. Do poisons exist?
Yes.
It's the only definition for the word virus that we've adopted into the English medical terminology.
Oh my goodness.
Do poisons and venoms exist?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to ask a question with just a couple of minutes left that's probably on a lot of the viewers' mind. Okay. You've definitely got me interested. Obviously, I am not going to sit here and tell you that you should start smoking cigarettes. That's not the point here. There are healthier ways, delivery mechanisms for getting nicotine in the body that would present a lot of the benefit that you're describing here. If somebody watching this show is like, what does that look like? Is it a nicotine gum? Am I supposed to wear one of these patches that I see? What is your answer for that?
Very good. So in the book, Moving Beyond the COVID-19 Lies, chapter 13 is titled Just in the Nicotine of Time. And it covers all the questions you're wanting referenced.
Sure.
So number one, we already went through here and educated people that there are many plants called the nightshade vegetable family that have nicotine in them.
Yeah.
So go eat your veggies.
Right.
That's number one.
Yes.
If you don't want to get your nicotine that way, I have recommendations here of what they found is the cure for all long COVID symptoms. I show you the medical studies. This is not Dr. Ardis' studies. These are medical scientists who
And it's
actually
in the book, yeah.
who actually asked every long COVID patient who had 2 years of suffering and no resolution, even with ivermectin or anything else. They asked them just to wear a 7 milligram nicotine patch for 6 days, 100% cured. So you have nicotine patches you can use, nicotine gum or tablets you can buy. I tell you which brands I recommend.
Right,
but I also educate through the Dr. Ardis show how it is my wife and I have bought organic Virginia flue tobacco leaf, and we steep it in boiling water, and then we turn it into foot soaks, scalp treatments, topical treatments.
Wow.
And there's tobacco salves. We're expecting to come out with one very soon, which is very exciting.
Now,
That
do you
can be just
remember
topical.
earlier when I mentioned my friend Jared Lasky? I didn't finish that story. So he said that he watched one of your podcasts. He followed your advice on where to get it, how much to use, how to gradually increase. His wife had long COVID and could not smell or taste. And it was your protocol, the one that you shared during the podcast, which is even further, illuminated in the book. And he said it was like, bam, just a few days, bang, all of her senses came back, taste, smell, the whole thing. Unfortunately, we're all out of time. Trust me when I tell you, I've seen this man present before on this topic, and even with an hour and 20 minutes, he is still, frantic to try to squeeze it all in. He could go on ad infinitum. That's why I highly recommend the book, Moving Beyond the COVID-19 Lies. Did you guys learn something today?
Yes, I did. That you guys are awesome. And the audience is amazing.
That they are. Unfortunately, we're all out of time, but we'll have Dr. Bryan Ardis back on future programs for everybody here in studio. Dr. Bryan Ardis, thank you for being with us
Thank you.
once again.
You're very welcome.
Keep your eyes on the prize, which is Jesus Christ. We'll be back.